Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase, and yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Also having our first Q&A live stream is going to be February 22nd at 6 p.m. Texas time, or some people call it Central Time. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Porsche cutting some of their EV jobs because the EV demand is dwindling. All 18 prospective clients will be utterly sad they can't get a Porsche in the EV platform. I'm kidding. There's 20 maybe that want that. Now, this comes to us thanks to Motor1.com. Specifically, you have good old Chris Smith over there, consistently a good writer, saying, quote, Porsche is cutting a bunch of jobs over weak EV demand. Also, slumping sales in China, or as we read it these days, China, aren't helping either. Now, here's actually one of the good things that Porsche and the Volkswagen Group does make, one of their iconic 911s. Or maybe it's a Cayman. I'm an aficionado, but not to the point where I can tell which, skeleton that is as they're starting to assemble it in the photo. But nevertheless, Chris says, quote, it's no secret that Volkswagen Group is having a rough time right now. Oh yeah, that is tough to say the least. The CFO of Volkswagen said that, now specifically the Volkswagen brand of the Volkswagen Group, has about a year left before it's not financially viable anymore, and the other cars aren't selling great. But the crown jewel of the Volkswagen Group, some people might like the Lamborghini or the Bugatti or Ducati. Personally, the portfolio or Audi. Personally, I think Porsche is the best, partially because it's got 3 pedals, also known as a manual transmission option for their top cool vehicles. Now, he continues saying, quote, with 2024 faded into the rear view mirror and all kinds of uncertainty facing automakers for the future, Porsche, one of VW's most important brands, is looking to downsize considerably. Important also means profitable. Again, luxury cars and luxury SUVs, really good profit margins. Small entry-level vehicles, not really great. Mostly a loss leader get you involved with the brand. But there's a reason why Ford and Chevy really don't make any entry-level small cars these days. They lose money on them. Now, they say that, quote, the automaker is planning to cut 1,900 jobs over the next few years at various locations throughout Germany, according to Reuters. Citing a company spokesperson, the report states that Porsche's previous reduction plan simply wasn't sufficient enough. Last year, the sports car maker didn't renew the contract for 1,500 fixed-term workers, and 500 more are about to end. New plan will, quote, cut around 1,900 jobs across the entire company in the coming years. And now you can see the Porsche 911 Dakar, which is a cool concept, and well, it's not a concept, they make it. It's a cool idea, but it's their off-road Porsche 911, which I can't help but think 1% of all produced will ever actually go off-road and not just be a pavement queen. Maybe 2% if we're fortunate. Lamborghini does the same thing. They have a fun little off-road car, which I'm sure like 1 or 2% will actually go off-road. But I appreciate them, doing something to make us smile and something different. Now, granted, different they've done historically too, so it's not that radical. Now, they say, quote, attention will fall on Porsche's primary facilities in and around Stuttgart. Ideally, the company hopes to accomplish the cuts without forced layoffs, which, and that's the iconic location. So iconic, it's in the emblem of the Porsche badge. Now, they say that buyout packages and early retirements will play a major factor. Porsche will also be frugal when it comes to filling out new roles. Workers at the large factory in Stuttgart, and I should know this because I love Porsche. I hope no one someday. Not that I don't love my Honda, but can't pronounce this yet. Zuffenhausen, maybe? I'll give myself 3% chance odds I got that right. And its research facility in, oh geez Louise, Worcestershire. I don't know how to pronounce that one. I'll give myself 0% odds of getting it right. I just know that it's also this fancy package you can buy on the 911 to up. I think it's like a $50,000 option for that one. It looks cool, and it's performance too. Those locations will bear a brunt of the cuts, they say. News comes not long after VW's struggle to not close factories in Germany, something that hasn't happened or at all since the company's history. Unfortunately, or ultimately, a deal, again, click that subscribe button. I have that theory that I first started the show, no subscribers, well, maybe family. And I stuttered terribly, spoke faster than Ben Shapiro, and stumbled over my words more awkwardly than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely grown the channel and slowly but surely gotten more subscribers, I become better at speaking. Yeah, granted, some people might just argue it's a modicum of improvement, barely anything at all, but I would argue a statistical improvement nevertheless. So if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. And actually, tell your friends and tell your enemies. You never know. It might piss them off so much they do something entertaining or mildly entertaining, which at least would, be a fun curveball in life if they hate the show that much and you send it to them. Or perhaps they become so enamored with your great recommendation, they love the show, and thereby your enemies become your friends. At the end of the day, at least it makes it for a funny story. And isn't that half of life? But I partially digress. Again, appreciate you clicking that button and your patience as I make the show better and better in theory every day. Now they say, quote, ultimately, a deal was struck to keep the lights on at all current plants in return for no wage increases for workers until 2031. However, job cuts at VW could top, 35,000 before all is said and done. A slump in EV sales throughout Europe and fierce competition from China has several automakers reviewing their bottom lines. Yeah, aka they can't compete with EVs in China. BYD is going to mass produce, well, they already are mass producing EVs at such a price point, you can't compete with them. Just like how most electronics are, unfortunately, or better or worse, they're made in China. It's because they can copy, paste, and rip off technologies faster, more efficiently than anyone else, and mass produce the crap out of it. And they don't really have any respect for intellectual property over there. So, yeah, competing with them in the automotive market for EVs, even Tesla's struggling, and they're losing ground to BYD. So, I don't blame Porsche exclusively for them struggling with the EVs. As you have decreased customer demand, but also the competition. The competition is fierce. That big panda is growing. I suspect without major tariffs in all countries against BYD, they're going to be one of the biggest default winners of EVs. And they do have some good tech, don't get me wrong. Now they say that Porsche's global sales fell 3% last year, but sales in China tumbled 28%, which not good because although they were rip off your technology, could at least make some money in the short term, and it's one of the largest markets on the planet. Now, they also say, as of course, there's considerable uncertainty at the automotive maker right now with regard to tariffs and trade wars stemming from Trump's administration. In short, nobody knows what the hell is going on right now or what might happen in the future, which is not great for auto communities or auto companies because when you look at, if you want to make a new car, it's like a $750 million gamble. Man, that's like the average minimum for a new car these days in terms of research, development, setting up the infrastructure, the tooling. It's a pretty penny to say the least. Well, a vintage pretty penny, which is made of copper. Modern pennies are crap zinc, but nevertheless, a pretty vintage penny. And also, Porsche is wondering, do we make the iconic 911 in Texas, where they may expand the Volkswagen facility in Tennessee, which some purists would say sacrilege to have an iconic 911. I almost said 1911. I'm thinking of America, but an iconic 911 made in the U.S. versus, the badge on every Porsche literally says Stuttgart. I feel like it should be made there as much as I'm a big made in the USA. I mean, shoot, nearly everything I own and I make is made in America. But yeah, something about 911, I just think should be made in Germany. But that's another thing. Trump could put a 50% tariff or more on them. What I suspect, not to speculate too much, but Trump is a man who likes to make deals. I suspect what he might do with companies like Volkswagen, which again, the Volkswagen Group has a big portfolio, they might do something to the effect of Volkswagen will say, hey, Trump, we want to help make America great and make more local grassroots manufacturing. What if we make 3 more models of the Volkswagen or the VW branded vehicles in Tennessee? We expand that factory out. And then you allow some exceptions for the 911, the Cayman, which are much lower volume units. And that way you can still preserve the Porsche brand in the portfolio. Now, they do make some Porsches in other areas, but to me, there's something to about the allure of Germany. And yes, I know Mercedes, all German brands have U.S. facilities as well. But when we look at VW, Volkswagen, the VW brand and that part of the portfolio, that one does have much more factories globally. So I suspect if there comes to be a trade agreement, I would guess that would be a win-win type of negotiation. Now, it is sad a lot of people are losing their jobs right now. At Porsche, there's a lot of competitors, so hopefully they find gainful employment somewhere else. But I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty, and again, demand for EV, the adoption rate for it is decreasing. As much as I'm not a fan of hybrids, that is a fastest growing consumer adoption category in the United States for our specific sales. Me, everything should have 3 pedals as a main transmission. That's what I think, but I know I'm an outlier in that regard. So it's unfortunate that they're having some layoffs. Hopefully, they get back on their feet and they're able to find some gainful employment. So not too surprising, but still a bit of sad news out of Porsche. And let me know, again, they do have a couple EVs. I know 18 people bought them. People like Bill Gates, who is very respected. Everyone likes him. Not so much, but let me know. Do you know anyone who actually bought a Porsche EV? And do you think this is a step in the right direction? Let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make sure better and better. Don't forget, first Q&A live stream is going to be February 22nd, 6 p.m. Texas time, or some people call it Central time. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies, heck, tell your coworkers, tell everyone, just stay safe and fight the good fight.